my opinion on suicide is still that if you don't have any other options and this is the thing you're thinking of, I wouldn't be mad. If this is a case of a family member or a friend of mine, of course I'd be sad, but I wouldn't start cussing them out, like blaming them just because that was the only option they could say.
Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors and ideators so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. And when we do talk about it, when we listen, when we engage, when we communicate, most of us are not very good at it. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations, and hopefully better conversations with survivors, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, I would love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. This Sunday evening, the 21st at 9 p.m. Eastern, we've got a listeners meeting. If you would like to attend, shoot me an email and I will send you that link. You can also message me on our socials, and we would love your support there as well. And if you do go there, you will see information about the tour, which is starting in a couple of weeks. We're going to at least 15 and up to 20 cities. It is going to be absolutely epic. I want to thank everybody involved, which includes mostly past guests who are making this happen. So thank you all so much. Of course, I thank you, the listeners, as well for being a part of this for so many years. If you'd like to support the podcast, the tour, you can make a tax-deductible donation at givebutter.com/suicide. Noted that link is everywhere, the website, here in the podcast description, wherever you listen to podcasts. Would love your support that way, but appreciate your support however you are involved. Thank you so much. Special thanks to Edward and Allie for making a contribution. I appreciate that. It goes a long way. And remember, if you listen on Apple, please rate and review. That helps a lot. And on Spotify, we've got a weekly poll. I would love your thoughts on that. Check it out. Finally, we're talking about suicide on this podcast. My guests and I don't hold back, so please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there's so much to learn. Today, I am talking with Kyle. Again, it's an update episode. Kyle lives in Australia, and he is a suicide attempt survivor. So Kyle in Australia, I assume you're still living there.
Yeah, haven't changed.
But it's been almost 5 years.
Yeah, tell me about it.
How old were you when we first talked?
I was 19.
Okay, so I'm going to do the math here and say you're either 24 or almost 24.
Yeah, 24 now.
Those are big years.
Tell me about it.
You were episode, if anyone's wondering, we're not going to rehash everything. I'm going to ask Kyle to give a little update or summary of what we talked about, sort of life until 19. But episode 31, towards the end of 2020, I listened to just the little blurb that I have in the beginning of each episode, a little chunk that I take out. And yours was about saying it's good to have people to lean on in case you get, I think you used the word those feelings, but that's a little out of context. We were probably talking about feelings around suicide or mental health stuff. Before I ask you about that, thanks for connecting with me again and doing another episode, updating. I mean, so here's a really unfair question, binary, if you will. What is your life better or worse, or is that unanswerable since we talked?
Life is definitely better. I think being 19, you still haven't learned anything. You're blind.
Well, if there's an 18-year-old out there listening, they're going to be like, excuse me?
I mean, I still am. I can't say much in that regard, but I've definitely learned a lot more than what my 19-year-old self would have.
Can you give me like a 1-minute overview of your life from 0 to 19? Summarize your life, including suicide attempts or near attempts and any hospitalizations. Go. Good luck.
I became depressed when I was about 12, 13. Life before that was pretty okay. 15, 16, started self-harming. Got kicked out of school kind of for that. When I was 18, I tried to end my life with pills and then got sent to a psychiatric unit for a week. And then I had your podcast.
All of those big seminal moments, including talking with me for the first time back then. Okay.
Oh, exactly.
You go to a hospital for a week. Tell me how that experience was.
So considering my experiences now, they were pretty good. It was definitely, it's not the best.
At 19, were you sent to, is it like for youth or for adults or young adults? How does it work there?
So I was 17 at the time. So it was a pediatric.
So you would have been one of the older kids there, probably.
Yeah, for sure.
Running the show. El Jefe.
Mate, living the high life.
Yeah, man. You didn't know then that 2 years later, you'd be talking to me. 5 years later, we're doing it again.
Talking to you again.
Since we talked, I want to hear more about your life, particularly around this stuff. Have you had any attempts?
So since then, I've had 2 attempts.
When was the first?
Literally a month after the episode aired.
Was I part of the reason why you tried again?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Possible. I don't know what the effect of talking about this is. I think it's usually positive, but I don't know.
No, you're all good. No, it wasn't that at all. I think it was a cluster of reasons again, like what my first attempt was, that I had nowhere to go. Like I didn't see a path for myself. Like I didn't expect to make it to Christmas.
This is going to be really hard to remember, but when we were talking, did you remember feeling suicidal?
Yeah. Maybe not feelings, maybe not remembering, but I know I was suicidal at that time.
I'm sure even when people are like, okay, I think I can trust this guy and I can really open up, they're still not entirely honest. And I absolutely understand why. So if I were to ask people that question, I'm sure some are suicidal, but they don't tell me. It doesn't come up. Maybe in the update episode it does. Who knows? So for that attempt, the one after we talked, same method?
Yeah, same method. So pills as well.
Hospital?
Hospital, but not psychiatric.
Okay. So just get you back to being okay, like quick.
Yeah, exactly.
And does anybody, I don't know if we talked about this, we probably asked you this question, but if you were in a pediatric hospital, the first attempt when you were 17, I'm sure at least your family knew about it.
Family and friends knew about it.
What was it, 2 or so years later, 2+ years later, same method, different kind of hospital?
That one's a little bit more uncomfortable because with that attempt, my friends at the time ended up leaving, ended up disconnecting from our friendship because of that. Their reasoning for it was I was too much to handle.
What does that mean, do you think, for them? What do you think that means?
I think it means that I put too much on them. They were the same age as me, so they were 19, 20 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is a lot for, let alone someone to handle, but maybe someone who's just come out of being a teenager, a lot to handle for them.
For sure. Do they, are you in contact with them, or have you been in contact with them since at all?
No, done and dusted. So with that, I ended up moving to Melbourne.
Where were you?
I was in northeast Victoria, so I was in the country. And I ended up moving to big city.
University?
No, so I studied in the country. I studied for 2 years after that, getting a diploma in graphic design.
Oh, cool.
And then ended up moving to Melbourne to get a better experience. Because, of course, being in the country, you almost know everyone. So the pipeline was very diverse.
Do you like it there?
I love it. It's given me a lot of opportunities. Yeah. And it's also taught me a lot about myself.
What was the second attempt since we talked? So the first one was after we talked, was shortly after.
Second attempt was last year.
2024.
Yeah.
In Melbourne.
Yeah, in Melbourne.
Similar stuff?
To be honest, that one's a blank spot. I don't exactly remember what I was doing at the time or feeling at the time. I think I was in a bad headspace. Once I came out of it, piece of amnesia, which I don't really mind forgetting about.
You know that you tried, or you wouldn't have brought it up.
Yeah, exactly. I know there are records to show that I tried. You've got the physical evidence, but mentally, I just have no idea.
Do you want to share anything you learned from it, or is that too sensitive from the paperwork?
There wasn't really much. Yeah, it's a bit sensitive because I think one of my friends found me. They ended up taking me to hospital, and then, a few days later, got out again.
That's scary, though.
Oh, for sure. Can't put words to it.
Right. It's not good for a podcast.
Exactly.
Without words, I'm screwed. We're screwed.
With that attempt, though, I will say it led to good findings. That was about want to say August last year. So when I first moved to Melbourne, I stopped seeing a therapist like that I'd continuously seen for years. So when I moved to Melbourne, I was like, I don't need any therapy. Like this isn't for me. So I went for, like the first 6 months without anything and then became suicidal. And then that's when I was like, I need help. So after my attempt in August, I was talking to my therapist at the time. We were talking on and off from that point till about October, November. Or she suggested that I could have possible bipolar, which would explain my mood swings and just how abrupt I can be in certain situations. I did all the things you have to do, like go see a psychiatrist to get like the assessment and stuff. I ended up spending a month in a psych ward. That was a loose ward though, so I was able to still go to work, but that was like my home base for a month's time.
That's what they call it, a loose ward?
I don't know what the professional term is.
Okay, I like it then.
That's how I kind of called it.
As opposed to a
But-
tight ward.
Yeah, exactly.
You're getting the help or support, hopefully, but you live your life.
Yeah, like it wasn't a prison. I had the support of people there. Like they were checking up on me daily, that kind of thing. At the same time, I was mostly there to be assessed for bipolar.
And not do it in one day. Like actually give you time to figure it out, maybe.
Yeah, not do it in one day like a lot of places do.
Magicians almost. So, and you went there voluntarily.
I went there voluntarily.
And what was the outcome?
So I ended up getting diagnosed with bipolar type 2. So that's with severe depressive episodes and then hypomanic episodes. Before that point, I was on antidepressants. Studies have shown that they don't work for people with bipolar. It more sends them into a manic state, which is good because you're not depressed, but at the same time, you're still not good. Currently, I'm medicated properly now. It has been working somewhat, so I can't complain.
Wow. Okay. How many meds do you have to take every day?
About 2.
I mean, about 2. It's either 2 or it's not 2.
Well, so I've got my normal one to take, but then I've also got an antipsychotic, which depending on how my mood fluctuates, I can take, or if I'm in a stable position at the time, I don't have to take it.
When you're dealing with bipolar, and you have bipolar, you said type 2, when you're down, how down are you?
Good example is I've just gone through a bad episode.
Yeah, and how long do they typically last?
Maybe a month or 2.
Damn.
With the last episode, I became severely suicidal and sent to a psychiatric unit. It was only 2 days because I was able to get out early, but they put me on an assessment order, which means they can hold me up for up to 72 hours. After talking to them day 1, they upgraded it to what's called a CTO. I don't know the full abbreviation for it. Yeah, it basically means you can be held for 28 days.
That's an upgrade?
Tell me about it.
I will take the downgrade. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I would definitely would have taken the downgrade.
Mr. Kyle, we've got great news for you. You're being upgraded, not to first class. No, you're being upgraded to an additional 25 days, perhaps, in our institution. Enjoy yourself.
As you said, not first class, but maybe you're strapped on top of the plane.
Yeah.
It was kind of that. And then talking to the doctors, they were like, yeah, it's just something we do. And I was like, how do you explain that? For sure.
So how long were you there for?
I was only there for 3 days. Yeah, they ended up letting go of the order and I got out.
Was that because you were like, Kyle, I'm just be on your best behavior and get out of here? Or they were like, nah, you're not a risk?
Oh, I was 100%, Kyle, you got to be in your best behavior.
Right. This is what so many people do.
The whole time I was there, I was of the mindset, I'm going to get out the next day. There's no point socializing. There's no point doing anything. I'm leaving. There's no point in doing it. So I sat in my room for those 2-3 days, didn't really do anything. And it was on a weekend as well. The fact that they didn't keep me in there to start seeing the treatment team and were like, hey, your 24 hours doesn't actually start until Monday.
Easy to say when you're going home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, believe me, it started the moment I walked into this fucking place.
It was a interesting experience, to say the least.
So what I was asking though, so you said when you're in those states, you were suicidal. One thing I'm curious about, because it's going on for like at least a month, you say, when it happens. Are you able to like live your life kind of quote normally, do the things you would typically do, or are you bedridden?
I mean, I think it depends on the day. Depends on how bad it is or how debilitating it is.
Yeah.
Some days I'm just bedridden. Other days I use my job a lot to distract myself.
Yeah, I was going to ask something that we don't talk about a lot is like, do you live alone?
No, I live with a roommate who I actually work with.
Okay. Roommate or not, but particularly if you didn't, so this happens and certain kind of jobs, you can't just take a few weeks off,
Yeah.
right? So you have to choose between that and that could be really tricky.
As I said, I use my job a lot to distract myself.
And you have somewhat of a flexible schedule?
Yeah, I've got a flexible schedule. Like I can work between Monday and Sunday. Mostly it's a Monday to Friday job, but I can always pick up the shift for Saturday, Sunday. At the same time, I'm alone all day because I'm driving. It's a driving job.
Okay, you're not doing graphic design.
No, I'm not going. I'm not doing graphic design. I wasn't able to actually find a job in that field. It's been cruising along, really. If it makes me happy, then I'm happy with it.
100%. And when you get into the other side of it, the other side of bipolar, when you're really up, I'm sure you're productive as hell.
Yeah. I don't know what's better between the suicidal thoughts completely going away. Like they're an afterthought or they're even in some ways, I start thinking, would I ever have thought that? Like I don't think about the other episode. I just become not delusional, but like start thinking, why would I do that? That doesn't sound like me.
That's just wild.
It's insane. I'm bouncing off the walls, really. Well, I don't have to keep busy because I'm doing whatever is in front of me.
Yeah. But I'm sure it affects sleep.
In those periods, I get maybe 2 hours of sleep, if that.
Is that when you got the tattoos when you were in a high?
Yeah, actually. I also got all my piercings as well.
Right. And then you can't undo tattoos easily. So I hope you are okay with them. They look pretty cool. Let me see them. They're like sleeves or something.
That's characters from an anime, Naruto.
Characters from an anime. Remember, this isn't a video podcast, so people.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, so that's pretty colorful and pretty graphic.
I've got one of Stitch. I've got one from a video game. That one there. And then I've got one that I'm currently working on that's on my leg.
So clearly you like that genre.
Yeah, I love it.
It'd be really weird if you didn't like it and you just got tattoos. You're like, nah, just something I don't really like. Just put it on my body.
That's the point where I start getting like more worried for myself if I just got random ass tattoos.
How many hospital stays have you had for mental health stuff? Psychiatric units, long stay, short term, kid, older?
3. I'm currently Tuesday of the time we're talking. I'm doing an intake for the same place I went to last year. So the loose psych ward. I don't have to, it's voluntary, but that's just so with my last episode, I freaked myself out. I scared myself. At that point, I realized I do need the help and I do need a system put together for when I am in those periods and when I'm that close to killing myself.
The one where you had you kind of have an amnesia, if you will, or it's probably not technically amnesia, but it might be. You just don't have, it's all blurry. Is that one more of a secret?
Yeah. Only really my psychiatrist and my GP, also my therapist know about it. I don't really go around telling people about that one.
No tattoos.
No tattoos.
How do you feel right now?
Kind of like a neutral state.
Is that ideal?
Yes. That's kind of like the good state that you want to be in. Not impulsive, but at the same time, I don't want to kill myself.
Yeah. Do you think if you had scheduled our talk and you were down, you would show up?
Yes, but I think it'd be a different conversation.
Right. I'm always cognizant of that. Like when am I catching whoever I'm talking to?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, some factual things would remain the same, but other things would be presented differently because you're feeling different.
At the same time, I don't think I'd be like as talkative, just certain things that I probably might want to have mentioned in the podcast. I'm not going to have mentioned.
Yeah. And you're saying how you think about especially when you're in an up, how you think about the downs differently. Like your brain is processing it differently. And I don't know how that affects you when you're in a more neutral state. But if I were to ask you 2 weeks ago when we were talking, are you suicidal? And you were being completely transparent, you might say yes, or sometimes.
Yeah.
But today, which is a Friday, Saturday for you, yep. Are you suicidal?
No.
Isn't that interesting though? And you're aware of the fact that 2 weeks ago you might have said yes.
Yeah, for sure.
which is probably a good thing to be aware of, but it's also, I don't know if this sounds weird, but I'm fucking fascinated by that.
I didn't know much about bipolar when I got my diagnosis. I've tried to not really get much into the research because then, I'm going to manifest symptoms, that kind of thing. But just the whole scope of bipolar is interesting.
This is one of the things so I definitely didn't ask you about the pink and purple pill back in the day because
no,
I didn't have that on my repertoire, so to speak. It wasn't part of it. But that's an interesting thing. So because I ask you today, do you want to be alive? What would you say?
I'd say yeah. Like there's some moments where it's like, not really, but it's not debilitating. It's not the only thing I'm focusing.
And if I caught you on an up,
I would say no.
Right. And then if I give you this pill and you take it because you're really down or you save it, you don't have a do-over. So it's like, man, this is a couple questions I have that are unrelated to you. Well, they're related to your life, but I just have this ongoing curiosity. In 2020 or maybe after, did you listen to our conversation?
No.
You've never listened to it ever?
That's the one episode basically that I haven't listened to.
Oh my God. You remind me of me. I've been on only a few podcasts, but I don't listen either.
I think I started to, but as soon as I heard my voice, I was like, I'm not even going to attempt it.
Because I think there's an opportunity, if there ever comes that time where you're comfortable hearing your voice, like it would be interesting to hear yourself 4 or 5 years ago. Like if nothing else, not your voice the way it sounds, I mean what you shared.
Yeah. And the fact that I was 19 at the time, I only had one attempt. I don't exactly remember, like it's been almost 5 years. I don't remember what I said. It'd be interesting to work out what I said, but that's not on the books right now.
Well, you know what's interesting? I've transcribed some of my early episodes.
Oh, really?
So if you ever want to read what you said, you can. So I'm not saying you should, but at least you don't have to hear your voice if that's the deal breaker there.
Yeah.
So I assume if you didn't hear it, even though you've listened to a lot of episodes, in fact, it sounds like all of them except one, did anybody else hear it?
I think I sent it to one person and they heard it.
Did they say anything to you about it?
Again, it's been so long. I don't even remember.
So 19 to 24 is, those are very different ages. And you had a couple of attempts, a few hospitalizations, you changed cities. That's a diagnosis. Has your ideas or thoughts about suicide generally, or as it applies to you, shifted or changed at all?
I wouldn't say they've shifted really. My opinion on suicide is still that if you don't have any other options and this is the thing you are thinking of, I wouldn't be mad. If this is a case of a family member or a friend of mine and they killed themselves, of course I'd be sad, but I wouldn't start cussing them out, like blaming them just because that was the only option they could say. So no, not really. And like the views on myself, I think they kind of change. They change almost daily. Like the suicidal ideation comes and goes.
Yeah.
If a bus suddenly hits me, that's fine.
Right now.
Yeah, like right now.
I mean, if you listen to the podcast, there are not a small percentage that are like, I am suicidal or I'm planning or I'm somewhat active or I've got a date. But in the last year, even less, I've had 2 people that were very clear that they're going to take and they did.
Yeah. I mean, you do a good job with this podcast, mate. The part where you are kind of immortalizing like what people want to say, even if it is their last, maybe recorded moment.
It's an audio note, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's their final hurrah. There should be a bit of sympathy for them.
Yeah.
Like if they're getting to that point where that's their only option, then it's sad.
Because like when you think about when you're suicidal, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but from what you've shared, you're aware of the crisis hotline numbers that are available. You're aware of most of the resources. There's always new things, but like you can go on Google, you have your therapist's phone number or whomever.
I actually had a conversation with a friend the other day. We were mentioning how if someone's wanting to kill themselves, they are wanting that. If you want something, why exactly would you call a number or do something to stop that? And then everyone else saying, call this number if you're thinking about killing yourself. If you're wanting to, why?
Right. Yeah, I think some people are definitely in that space and others aren't. Others are just like, in a different space, but they're in a crisis, sure. But if you're wanting to kill yourself, that's a really interesting perspective because, like, if someone said that to me and I wanted to do this, I'd say, you're not understanding.
Yeah.
Why would I call a phone number when this is what I want to do? But with you, Kyle, and I'm sure there are others that hear this that are in the similar situation with bipolar 2, like what would I say if I were, in Kyle's life and he reached out or I stopped by and we started talking,
No, I definitely don't have an answer. In terms of doctors and diagnosis wise, bipolar wasn't the first diagnosis I'd gotten. After that second attempt, a month after the episode aired, I did get diagnosed with borderline personality disorder.
I had a feeling.
It's a standard one that just gets slapped onto everyone at this point.
Right.
But the doctor who gave me the diagnosis basically said to me, there's no medication to help this. Therapy is the only way. Therapy is the only option. And then they kept on saying, like, 2 years of this certain therapy of DBT. They said most people after 2 years of that don't show the symptoms of BPD.
Did you do it?
Now, I did it for 3 years. Nothing.
Because you didn't have it.
I didn't have it.
3 years of was that like a daily, ongoing, hard work, DBT, all in type of thing?
Not daily, but it was weekly.
Okay.
It was very discouraging. When you're being told you have this, a lot of people after 2 years won't have it, and you still have it, and it's not gotten any better.
Even after you give it another year.
Yeah. What are you meant to do?
Like, if that's the only option, you do it, right, I guess. But all the while, you have your highs and your lows, like you're talking about your life now, but probably even more because you were on the wrong medication.
Yeah. I don't think I was really even medicated, apart from maybe an antidepressant.
Right, but that doesn't help bipolar, but they didn't know you had bipolar.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. And I'm not ripping on them. I mean, it is hard to diagnose accurately sometimes. I'm not saying it's just so easy, but it's just like, that sucks, frankly.
Yeah, for sure.
You probably know a lot about DBT, though. You probably teach that shit.
I could do a whole seminar on it.
Yeah. By the way, this didn't work. Like at the very end, you've got to say, like only at the very end, you're like, by the way, this didn't work for me at all, but I think you should give it a shot.
I could recommend it, but I don't know if it's going to work for people.
Given what you shared about your friend and given what you've shared about ideas around suicide and how you feel about it, have you ever lost someone to suicide that you were close to?
No. This may be the wrong word, but I think I'm lucky not to have had that happen.
You think I would have fucked you up?
I don't know, to be honest. It's that case of it would have to have happened to see the full outcome. The other part in that is as well, whether they were showing signs. If they weren't, your immediate reaction is going to be, I should have seen signs. While if they were visibly talking about it and stuff, it's kind of expected. And I don't think there is a normal response.
Yeah.
Everyone responds differently.
What about the pill? Pink and purple. If you don't know what that is and you're listening, then you're not a regular listener, and I'm not mad at you for that. But just go ahead and listen to a non-update episode, and you will find out what the pink and purple pill means. And I'm going to ask Kyle what he would do with it today, with the understanding is in a more neutral state. And I'm also going to ask what you might have done with it when we talked at 19, and I have a feeling they might be different answers.
Right now, probably keep it.
Right now, you wouldn't take it, but you're saving it knowing sometimes you get in a really down state. So you're not chucking it because of that.
I'm not chucking it because of that. Yeah. It's hard to explain, I think. It's a thing of if I really want to and I really need to, I've got that option. And I think the part of the question which I think makes it, well, not better, but makes it...
No, it's a great question, Kyle. You can say it.
Yeah, which makes it better is that the whole people won't know it's a suicide. You'll die quietly.
Right.
I think that's the part where I'm just like, that's why I'd keep it. 19-year-old me would have definitely taken it, I think.
Is that weird to think about that? Like you'd be dead.
Yeah. When my birthday hits, I still think about it and the fact that I could be dead by now. Depending on the time, it's like I could have been dead or I should have been dead. My birthdays are a roller coaster to go through, depending on my mood and just depending on everything.
When's your birthday?
It's in June.
Fucking birthdays, man.
Hate them.
I don't like them either. I don't mind yours. I don't like mine. We took almost 5 years off. No idea if this podcast will be around in almost 5 years from now. Do you think you'll be around in almost 5 years from now?
I'd like to. That's currently where it sits. Whether circumstances will say yay or nay, that's a different question. It would be good to be around for another 5 years.
Got to deal with 5 more birthdays, though, aren't they? So, come on. If we could just get rid of that one day, man.
Yeah.
When you're in that, so when somebody's in a state where it's like, I'd like to be alive, but circumstances and other stuff have to, are you able to plan your life? Are you able to even have like a goal, longer term goal? Like, I want to get married, or I want a kid, or I want to move to England, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm able to have goals. I don't write them down, which I think I should really start. Either writing them down or doing something like journaling, just so I have something to go back to. At this moment, I have goals. 2 weeks ago, I didn't have anything. I wanted to die.
Yep. You had a very specific goal.
Yeah, exactly. I had a goal that would have lasted a week. Right now, I have goals that last, a year's time.
Can you put one out in the universe so we can hear it?
Plan to go overseas next year. I haven't actually left the country. It's exciting. Have you any suggestions?
Oh, man. I mean, I'm happy to talk to you about it. I've been able to travel some. I just know for Aussies, it's going to be an expensive flight.
Oh, for sure.
Unless you're going to take a quick little trip to New Zealand or something, it's probably going to cost you a pretty penny. The other question, other than the pink and purple pill, is the memoir titles. If you are a loyal listener, and it sounds like you are, I am sure you have thought about this for yourself. If you haven't, we should explore that for a few moments.
I think I was leaving it to you.
I'm actually leaning more on my guest, and I don't know why that is, because I am the one with the gift. Everyone can acknowledge that. But it's interesting with you because I'm pretty sure, again, I have to go back to this. If we ask 19-year-old Kyle, it might be a different memoir title, which is fine because it's going to change.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless we just called it Kyle. But that's so boring. Sorry, your name is fine. It's just like a kind of boring memoir title.
Yeah.
I always think about when someone gets tattoos, for example, that's like, all right, maybe I'll play with that because that means something to them. I feel like I'm disappointing people now if I don't come up with a few awesome possible titles.
No, but no pressure, mate.
No pressure. You don't want to have a memoir necessarily with bipolar, but it is a big part of your life. So not that word, but something about experiencing the world and these highs and lows. Who knows, man? This is just what artists do. And that's what I am with respect to memoir title making. Start exploring and spitballing and brainstorming and ideas beget ideas. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just reveals itself and everyone knows it. Everyone knows it. I feel like I'm a pastor or some one of those preachers.
Preach the word of the memoir.
I do want to know, like day in and day out or week in and week out, what is one thing that you do, if anything, that actually helps, makes you feel better, brings you some level of joy or peace or not shittiness?
A big part of what brings me joy is my work, my job. As I said, I use it to keep me distracted. It's fun. And I socialize. I use it to socialize. My best friends I got from this job. My roommate also works with me.
What else do you want to add to this conversation, if anything?
I think that was about it.
We covered it. You shared a bunch of stuff. I asked some questions, shared some stuff. Thanks for talking again, man.
No, thank you. I was excited for this.
Me too. What is it? Is it like late morning there, mid-morning?
It's 8 a.m. I just set my alarm to actually get up this early, so I'll probably go back to bed.
So part of your day will include going back to bed. And do you work today?
No, I'm working tomorrow though. But no, I do plan on getting some more sleep today.
Go at it, man. Go slumber. Appreciate it. Maybe I'll see you at a live sometime soon. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'll see you at a live.
Awesome. Later.
Bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. And special thanks to Kyle in Australia for speaking with me again on this update episode. Thank you, Kyle. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, I would love to talk with you. Please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. You can find us on most of the socials. You can message me there. You can follow, like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. It helps. Check out suicidenoted.com or learn more about us right here on this podcast platform, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen, to learn more about the tour, how you can support, and all kinds of other cool things. And that is all for this update episode. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.